Hello YouTube, don't mind if I skip with the pleasantries, but I've already uploaded this like 2 fucking times and this is my 3rd time trying, so I don't feel like going through this again. This video is going to be on the free market, and it's going to be to clear up some misconceptions about me and my support or my view of the free market, as well as just the fact that, let's face it, I have no fucking life. But the point is, free market, this video is going to be on how I support the free market, and what the free market is, and how capitalism is the destroyer of free market and free enterprise, and why I'm against the capitalist system. The free market, as we all know, and a lot of people misconstrue and think capitalism is free market or monopoly capitalism. Monopoly capitalism is not free market. Here's what the fuck free market is, free enterprise. Everyone can set up a shop in the backyard. The land sale, or not the land sale, but the yard sale, we all do that. We all have had yard sales, your family have had yard sales. That is a textbook, perfect example, or example or description, whatever, demonstration, what the fuck a free market system is. You have goods, you trade for cash, your own goods. You don't have to go out of your way to get licensing, at least you didn't used to. But you don't have to go out of your way to get a license. You don't have to wait till a certain date. You don't have to go into these insane zoning regulations and worry about where you set up the fucking thing. No, you just fucking set up a table, you sell some shit, they give you some money, that's it. That's free market. Capitalism is not free market. Here's the difference between capitalism and free market. Capitalism, and let me make something clear, because I was going to say capitalism is an extremely regulated version of free market. And I want to make something clear. I do support regulations of the free market. We have to have a liberal society. We have to have a liberal, and with that we have to have a liberal economic system. And that means we do have to have regulations as concerns, or as relates to, or as concerns the air, the water, so forth, the environment. We need to protect that. We also need to make sure animals are not abused or treated incredibly bad. I personally don't even think meat eating should be legal, but that's a whole different story. And it also means that you treat your workers well, you don't disabuse your workers, you don't have child labor, people dying in sweatshops. We certainly don't want that, but that's, oddly enough, is where monopoly capitalism is headed. But okay, that's what the regulations have support. But now, monopoly capitalism is an extremely weirdly, unfairly, corruptly regulated version of the free market, where you have so many regulations that it's impossible to do everything. There's a tax on everything. It costs money to get a license. It costs money to go into business, to sell anything, to have a fucking small company, to do anything, to the point where it's almost impossible for anyone to do it. Take, for example, the taxi cab business. What a perfect example. The best example I can think of, perhaps, is this. It's no secret, for hundreds of years, people would come here. I mean, not hundreds of years, even to the point for decades and decades, even up till recently, people would come here, and they would set up from Russia, or from India, from the Middle East, all over the fucking world, would come to America to set up a fucking taxi service, and that's how they made their money. And it would be their taxi service, and they would start up a small business, and sometimes it would become successful. But not anymore. Now in some parts of the country, in some cities, some major cities for example, these fucking taxi cabs are so regulated, and to get a license is so costly that either you can afford it, that the average poor immigrant can afford it, or if not that, or anyone else can afford it for that matter, or if not that, it's so fucking costly that you wouldn't even break even anyways. So the only people that end up starting these companies, or even being able to, are the rich fuckers who are already millionaires or billionaires. They set up small companies, these small taxi companies with taxi services, and then you go to work for them. And that's how it is. That's how the entire market society, this supposed free market society, is in America. You don't start your own company. You don't work for yourself. You're not self-employed. You don't have family-owned businesses. You don't work for family and friends and they work for you. No, you work for these rich bastards. That's how they've set it up. That's monopoly capitalism. That's the problem with it. It's the same thing with marijuana. Even if they decriminalized it, you can't just go and apply for a license, pay a small amount of money, and then be able to sell marijuana. No, not anymore. With a reasonable tax on it, and then you put a reasonable tax on it, and a small taxation, or a small, whatever, you pay some money, and that's it. No, now it would be so fucking costly that it's not even worth trying. It's the same way with alcohol in this country. The alcohol in this country it costs so much to go into the alcohol making business, or the alcohol or beer brewing, liquor making, whatever, that there's still in small pockets across the country, there's still people who sell moonshine, who are moonshiners. They run white liquor. That still exists because it's impossible to get a fucking legal license to do so. You have to work hard and have so much money to be able to do anything. Meanwhile, the rich pay the least taxes. Their companies are taxed less. They're allowed to destroy the environment, and they don't give a fuck about anyone. Walmart doesn't even pay its damn workers. Walmart has to take up, I don't know if people knows this, but they have to take up, in some cases, food drives for their own workers so they can have a Thanksgiving dinner. Because they don't have enough money to pay their workers, and meanwhile they're making record profits. It's like, pay your damn workers. And that's what it comes down to. Free market is great. If it was up to me, this is my version of free market. Everyone should be able to set up a fucking crack house in their backyard and sell drugs and have prostitutes and everything else. I don't give a shit. Make whatever kind of money you want. But just don't fuck me over. And when you fuck over a family of fucking 5, you fuck over, a fucking low-income family with a fucking grandmother living at home and a fucking dog or something like that, and they end up out in the fucking street where nowhere to go, that's when you become a motherfucker. That's when you're a piece of shit, and that's when you should go to prison. You're lucky you're not in China, because they would line you up against a fucking wall and shoot you in the back of the head, and you deserve it. Because you don't have a right to export and fuck over your own damn people in your own damn country. And that's the fucking problem with capitalism. So don't call me a communist. I support free market. It's fucking capitalism I don't support. P666.